No. And
I said to myself, I didn't see kids. I never saw people miss lifts. I started training in 1989, going to gyms, and I didn't see it until I said, like, the internet got very popular. And what's interesting too is there's lots of information on how to squat properly, deep, this and that, but unless, I don't know, they don't do it. Deep squatting, what I say, offends people. It hurts their feelings. I tell them, you got to go all the way down. I did go all the way down. No, you didn't.
I mean, I judged even when I was out, like in Canada and stuff, you know, the day when if I lifted in the morning session, you know, in the afternoon, come back to watch the heavier weight classes. And they, you know, I had my officiating card. They say, hey, you want to step in? And people get mad at me. They'd say, yo, that was good. I said, what do you mean it was good? It's not good. And I would have to judge it, the high school meet, but I would, when it came to my kid, I'd get up and say, yo, I'm not judging my kid. And we would get complimented all the time is that your kids didn't miss a lift. And our goal was when we get there, bench squat dead, we wouldn't be 9 for 9. Our kids would get mad if they were 8 for 9 or 6 for 9. So listen, you didn't listen. I told you to open lower.
Yep.
You didn't warm up properly. You know, I watch kids warming up in the gym there, which is a full-size gym, and I'd be like, what's your opening bench? 225. And they're trying to do it in the warm-up area. I just want to make sure I could do it. But I always wanted to be fair with kids when they were, and I'd say, listen, you maxed out at 235. My advice to you would be today, you know, what do you want to get today? 250. I said, why don't you open up with something like 200? Because that first one give you a little confidence.
Yes.
You know, and then the second one, and then you go for your personal best and stuff like that. A lot of kids would listen, say, thanks, coach, you know, and my kids would laugh sometimes, say, why are you telling them I'm going against him? You don't tell them what to do. I said, listen, I'm a teacher and a coach, and that goes together. So I want every kid to be successful, whether he's from here or whether he's from St. Mary's or whether he's from Shawnee High School, whatever, Hamilton High School. You know, I'm supposed to be helping kids.
I like it. Yeah, you want, I know. And I look back, I always say when I was a kid, I wasn't the best listener in sport, but with lifting somehow, I was so connected to it, I would listen, but I didn't have powerlifting was still kind of underground in the late 80s, early 90s. It didn't get popular till the 2000s.
Well, when I went to St. Joe and I was my first year there was Jim Gallagher, then it was Chuck Donahue, and we started the weight training. We had a universal machine, and we had one little bench. So, you know, I would go crazy on the universal machine.
Right.
Had like 13 stations, and I was trying to do the rack and everything. First time I ever did 300, you know, and I remember somebody saying, hey, you can do 300 on there, but you can't do it on a straight bar. And that was the truth.
Yes.
You know, I watch people even come in the gym that I train at now when I was at Oceanside, and they're doing 900 pounds on the leg press. Knees are wrapped. And they'd see me squatting, and if I was squatting 500 for triples at 165 or whatever I was at the time, I could squat 600-700. And the one day, it actually was my nephew, played down the street, and he said, we had our parent lifting night, and hey, Uncle Paul, I did 605 squatting.
Oh, God.
So I said, David, listen, I saw what you guys do. You get in the power rack, there's bars, you step out, somebody's holding on to you, go down, you touch the bar. It's not even a half squat. So he's arguing with me, he goes, no, I can do it. So I said, well, let's go in there and warm up.
Let's do it, here we go.
You know what he squatted that day? Full squat?
Oh, 3 and change.
275.
There you go.
He missed 315.
Yeah.
And I said, David, I'm just telling you.
So 275, but he said he did 6
he said
something.
605 in that
it's
night.
It's like a death trap here and what people are doing out there.
You know, when you do a deadlift and somebody's behind you, and as soon as it comes off the floor, you know, bigger, fast, stronger, you know, they're underneath you, snapping you back. I said, I wish I would have had that. Because instead of doing my best in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the junior nationals at 562, at 165, I was always 550 repeatedly at 148, probably in 50 meets. I went up a weight class, I said, I'm going to get 600. My best was 562. But the meet after that, I tore my bicep in Canada, had to have it surgically fixed and stuff. So after that, I don't think I ever did more than 500. I did 535 one time, but I was a much better deadlifter at 148. I think because
The stomach, right?
the stomach. And, you know, I'm not one of these guys. I've never had washboard abs. If you could find one ab on me, even when I was weighing 145, 148, that would be amazing. But, you know, I don't think people realize that you got to do things the right way.
Yeah.
You got to build a foundation. You know, when I'm coaching the little kids in 7th, 8th grade, we have weight room twice a week starting in February, is that we start the kids, we have them out there on that piece of turf that we
Right.
had, and we don't even use a broomstick. We just set them up. Foot
Body weight.
placement, bar
Yeah.
placement, pretend you got a bar.
Yep.
And then we proceed to a broomstick. We really don't use a bar for a while, you know?
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
the
see
same.
some
I like
coaches
that.
even come in here, you know, from other sports teams and
Right to the
away-
bar with no
right away,
background,
The bar's
yeah.
on there, the bar's up on their ears, and they're
Correct.
bent over. Their foot placement's horrible.
Coach, this is what's interesting too is with the internet, you can learn. If I don't know anything about weightlifting, I could go on YouTube and learn how to do it. I could immerse myself. I could buy books, but it's like, to me, I think if a coach is bringing kids into the weight room and they're doing it wrong, it's the coach's fault for not having skin in the game and learning to be an expert at that very thing. And what you said with your, you know, the kid squatting 600 and then 275, I had a kid at my gym years ago, the first gym, and he's like, oh, I did 35. I'm like, that's interesting, because a week ago you did 275, and like, I don't know how you could, you know, build almost 200 pounds on a squat in a week. And so there needs to be a basic standard, you know. That's why I think Louis Simmons liked the box squat. He said, because you'll always go to the same depth. It's the depth. And what's interesting, even at the Division I level, I'll see coaches letting kids bounce off a box or bounce off a bench, which would be like sitting gently. So let's take a walk into the other room.
Yeah,